Peace, peace, peace. Divine understanding, born of light. Now we do it. Set the record straight. Ain't you know the phrase? Yeah, they said a man 7. Hit the like, and if you like it, and hit the subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the presentations of the laws, mathematics, history, science, the world, how you want to look and see it. How we do. So anyway, the God was saying, oh, my first question was, so what do you eat now? That, he was saying, because I want to do it, but, and he said, what did he say? What do you eat? Right, so how do you get your protein, this, that, all right, so, well, you're only giving up grain, starch, soy, dairy, sugar. That's all you're giving up, really. And you're replacing grain with coconut flour, almond flour, right? You can use the flowers of plant, the flour or the, we'll say a mill, right? So if I look at what I have, right, I'm looking over here and I see the mill for powder, but that's not what you would cook more with. What is those premium cassava? That's it. Cassava flour is good. There's this banana leaf. That's another one I remember seeing. I didn't have get any of that, but the banana leaf. They got a flour for that. I like the coconut flour. Organic, premium coconut flour. I like that. I'm not no cook by no means, but I will whip up a little something by looking at the ingredients on. That's how I found a lot of formulas, I would say. Is what I would do is when I would see a food type, that's what she said. She said, I ran out of food stuff. And so I said, a food type. So when you have a surplus, same thing you do with your cash reserves, right? So you have a surplus of food in your refrigerator, you have a surplus in your cabinets, food, clothing, shelter, you have a surplus of food in your library, books you haven't read yet, or books that you collected is similar to what you already know and understand, but that's just proof. You building up the evidence for the classes if you're going to go that far where you're going to be teaching. Because the whole thing about the the virus and the Trojan horse, the knowledge itself is to the population of the planet Earth, right? The prophet said, uplift fallen humanity. And the law said, I'm not pro-black nor anti-white, pro-truth. And Elijah said, who is the original man? And Allah answered as the original man. Who's the original man? The original man is Asian, black man, make on cream planet Earth, false civilization, God of the universe. So that question was answered. But prior to that question being answered, people like J.A. Rogers, Clyde Winter, people like them, not them, but people like them had written, I wouldn't say an insurmountable amount of information, because this is after 1555. These people they're uncovering the lies and bringing the truth. We have a good list of those kind of people. That list you see I got from Kamasi. I got a list from Kamasi to Louis, right? And I got a list from Elijah. I got a list from Justice Equality Bookstore. He gave me a list too. A couple of guards online had given me lists from the 90s coming up. Like in the 90s, I would say I went right back to learning more about the history of mathematics. I bet 120. I went back and learned more. And it increased the accumulated facts on the nation, right? Long story short, you start to see why we go plant-based. The nation was going plant-based. It's just that I think we were too young, not in age, but young in doing that. Going from a genetic code, an RNA code that's been imprinted on the original man since 1555. So we're undoing that code that the original people, black, brown, red, yellow, for lack of a better color word, whatever, that's so everybody can understand. So Asiatic, original people, according to the lessons, the planet, everybody on the planet is Asiatic. Black, brown, red, yellow, white. They all Asiatic because there's only one Earth, right? And Earth is the home of the original man, and she's Asia. The whole planet is Asia. Go back and listen to Khalid Muhammad, listen to Farrakhan, listen to Elijah. Go all the way back to the elders and go back to Noble Drew Ali. He says Asiatic. You can even be down with, say, Aleister Crowley and them new Asiatic. Okay? Go look in Quabbalistic Tree of Life. Look in Mason Records. Look at Blavinsky. If you on that side, look in any of the masonry that hasn't been warped and strangely mixed with truth and lies. Look at that masonry and see when it starts telling you go check out the Quabbalistic Tree of Life. It's gonna aim you that way. That's why they on that square. Their numbers are 357, 248, 169, and 10. Look, go, see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So now, all of the evidence points you towards Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, the original people before Abraham and that world, right? And then it says, the fall is in between. It's not. The fall isn't at the beginning. The fall is in between. So what I mean by that is to say, you were a plant eater and you named the animals and you cultivated the planet Earth. You made sure that the microbiome was good and you changed the course of rivers and you tapped into the energy source. There's 4 energy sources on the Earth and you tapped into all 4 naturally. That's why you have what is called rhythm and beat and dance and singing. And you're in tune with the universe that also has a unique way of manifesting itself on the physical plane of existence so that life can exist in carbon form. those four major mathematical equations, which is the Earth itself, which would be Toph's territory. See, and once they figured out that metal is still Earth, right? And then you have fire, and that's lightning too. Fire is all that is fire. It's just another form of fire. Sun is fire. It's all fire. You can draw fire from it. Elijah Muhammad. And so I have fire, you have fire. And as above, so below. And as below, so above. And if you were flat, then above would be flat. And if you were not flat, then above is not flat. Look at you. You can test all of you. You have boundaries and everything. The secret to the boundary of the planet is the uniqueness of the atmosphere and how it creates a force shield around her. She creates it and she circulates it. I'm gonna put some books up for you to do the knowledge too, right? Because once you look at these books too, I'm sure, if you had access to those 3+ degrees that's running through my brain right now, the ones we receive with the equations, the mathematical equations that would do, Einstein would love those kind of mathematical equations, that lesson, right? And it would make you say to yourself, we terraformed this planet, I'm telling you. Original people terraformed it. When you look at time, of course, if you're looking at it from a geological perspective, but if you look at time from a perspective of who's the original man, and understand, don't see it from the weak physical form that you possess now. The weak physical form that you possess now is due to the fall of man on the physical plane. See, right? The first fall of man is to go from knowledge to born, and from born back to knowledge. So not man is the mind. So from the mental state, he took himself down into the soul plane. And from the soul plane, you take yourself down into the physical plane. Those are clothing that you wear. You are the mind. That's straight up and down. You are the mind, not the brain. The brain is a physical organ. You just gotta know the 3 brains. But you are the mind. And so, when you know and understand that you are the mind and that you have the trinity of the brain, the heart, and the stomach, the gut. You have those clusters. Work with them, listen to them, you analyze what they say. Remember now, you're in the ship, you're driving it. It's you. Your form is so powerful that it's going to burn that physical composition out in about 120 years if you treat it right. But you, who you are, will burn it out. Thank the Creator that you have a soul to house you. He said spirit man. He said spirit man, right? Let's just say the mind. And Greece says the all in all is the mind, and the universe is mental inside the mind of the all in all. The mental manifestation brought down to the physical plane of existence. So the universe, the triple darkness was terraformed so that the solar systems could make themselves manifest. When you looking at a lot of those constellations, and when they have those, they'll say these are the stars in that constellation, and they'll name it Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Cancer, Gemini. They'll name them Sagittarius, um, Pisces, and Taurus, and they'll just be, and those names change according to the language and the people, but it's those constellations, uh, you know, the zodiac as they call it today, and the 88 constellations, and that 13th one that comes in and out the same way leap year kind of comes in and out. And all that good stuff is making itself born, right? And so we went into a lot of subjects, and the point we were making was knowledge yourself changes the whole physical composition, not just mentally, but physically, right? Oh, I just saw the books, right? It was the books. One book was on, actually, they dealing with the four elements, right? And The Miracle of Man, is that it? By Michael Denton? Right. So one is the Children of the Light, Fire Maker, The Wonder of Water, The Miracle of the Cell, and The Miracle of Man. Just like when we read in Zechariah and all these other different books that aim us where they're aiming us. But the point we be looking at is, damn what they say. Don't really worry about what they say as far as their interpretation or their theory on this subject matter. What you do is you're using that to get to the excavation sites that God knows you would have never been able to get to them. Because most of us, our economics is not in a position so we could be traveling all over the damn place looking at excavation sites, as many as you want to really look at when you get to a certain level. And then when you get there and find out that the devil already stole all the good stuff and put it in museums all over the world, mostly all over Europe, wherever he got his museums at. And then even when you deal with the other tribes, the other amalgamated tribes, they'll be hiding your truth too because they have to ride with the Europeans' ideology. Because it's kind of their ideology. They're kind of all in on it because it doesn't fit the narrative it can't fit the narrative if they say you the original man. Don't you see how whenever the agencies that have something to do with education or higher learning, they're controlled by powerful people whose interests are to keep the lamb's wool in the position of subordination and not equality. By them doing that, they're able to keep you kind of locked down. Well, if I keep your information from you, and then the information that you do get, like it's going to be truth and false or strangely mixed the way the web is, because what takes place is you'll be doing research. If you have a good map and a good guide through the world of knowledge yourself, you'll be quite all right. But if you don't have a good map and you roughing it on yourself, you're gonna have you're gonna run into this and that and your need to be tribal and together is could get you caught into joining the wrong group. The information might be right and exact, but the group themselves might not be right and exact. That'll happen all the time. They'll be going, this information's right and exact. Why these people ain't right and exact? Because they're people, and people have the tendency to be easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right direction. Right? And so they had, anyway, like I said, they had gave us a list. And he said, but we have the list. Because, all right, look, here goes some books right off the top of my head. African Empire in Ancient America. Um, that's Clyde Winters, if I'm not mistaken. Clyde Winters, let me look. I'm going to look for you. Clyde Winters. And he also has Clyde Winters. Clyde Winters. Winters. Egyptian aircraft and the voyage to the moon. You can't make this shit up. That would show and prove 66 trillion years ago and You feel me? Right. That's what I'm talking about. And then we could go to prehistoric nations. John D. Baldwin. Now, that's talking about, like, if you could go back in your brain, the school system teaches you at least in a skewed way up to Egypt, kind of, because they'll go with and they'll try to merge Egypt, Greece, and Rome, right? They'll try to merge that, and they kind of leave you right there as, and maybe if you do a little more research, you'll go to Mesopotamia and this, that, and the third, right? If you don't go anywhere or read any books or look up anything or do any type of research in that area, you'll go with that story you learned in school. That I'm talking about Western education, right? And then you'll get cross-referenced and you say, The Ancient Black Civilizations of Asia by Dr. Clyde Winters. And you go, what? Or Atlantis in Mexico, Dr. Clyde Winters, right? Before Egypt, the Ma Confederation, Africa's first civilization. Bet you they never even told you about this book. Now, all right. When they look at shit like this and they say, oh, I knew about that. And that's why we kept it out the schools, because we didn't want um, people knowing that. Before Egypt, the Ma Confederation, Africa's first civilization by Dr. Clyde Winters. And this book was copyrighted in 2013. So it's like he's like a modern version of J.A. Rogers, like our Martin, because, J.A. Rogers was back in the days when people said, well, original people said Negro. And like I said, that goes back to Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid. They be acting like when they made those schools, and after they made those schools, then they refer to it going in prehistoric as if that was the term and name that the planet used before they made up race. That's if you can understand that. So when they're telling you the story, they're telling you as if it's the absolute truth and fact, not in theory form. That's part of the programming. Makes us think that. So that programming is unique in and of itself. So I would use Daniel Hunter. I would go to Daniel Hunter, building a movement to end the new Jim Crow as a remedy, right? Dr. Claude Anderson, he has good remedies. Marcus Garvey had an excellent remedy. Elijah, excellent remedy, right? Those are remedies that fix the problem. It fixes the problem. So research and all that lets you know, oh, you are greater than what the Europeans said you are. And then the dilemma that you in, you after doing research, you figure out this isn't your language, culture, creed. The science is warped. The devil is all over this shit. They're just doing anything and everything. And so you say to yourself, to get the semblance of cohesion back together within the original people, we're definitely gonna have to, without a shadow of a doubt. There's no um, way around it. Oh, here, I wanted you to check this book out, right? This guy named Graham Hancock, Before America, America Before, um, the Earth, no, the Key to Earth's Lost Civilization. That's a good one, right? I even saw this. Okay, here's Martin books that you can. The Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. See, that would show you things they do when they leave you alone and you come up, as they would say, you lift yourself up by your bootstraps and socks and whatever else they say. You stood up on your own and you went from a horizontal to a living perpendicular. So you went to vertical, you went from horizontal to vertical, whatever the case might be. But the point I'm making is you went from Mansa Musa and Timbuktu to Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. So they don't want you to see that, to the transatlantic slave trade, to the fact that don't think that they didn't do that transatlantic slave trade. Oh, they did that. And don't think that we didn't already have civilizations that had circumnavigated the whole planet. Oh, we did that. And when they got here, they saw everything. See, you know what? If you look at things in the short term, you'll be able to see what I'm saying in the long term. So we do things like make things, build things, create things, and then just move on. This is how we are as a people, right? And so we did it with the blues and jazz and this. And you would think, and rock and all that, you would, if you came to Earth right now and you listen to these Europeans, you would think they made up jazz and rock and right? They even trying to skew the history of hip hop. They just going crazy. And we be helping them tell lies about our own history, you know. One part of us is telling a lie about another part of us because we think we're all different. Even I see motherfuckers with knowledge or so say some of the craziest shit. Then I say to myself, they're entertainers. So how much are they influenced by the devil based on the amount of money that they are introduced to? It's one thing when you go into work back and forth, and even that devil has influence on the way you move, depending on the kind of job it is and what kind of power the owners of the corporation give them. If you're in like a city, state, or a federal job, the power structure is different than, say, corporate America. Very much so if it's in Fed level. If you look at Fed level, the supervisor, the GF, the manager, because you got management and supervision, and they name them whatever the fuck they want to name them as titles. And you got craft, and they give them whatever names they want to give them. Something like you got enlisted men, non-enlisted men, and then you have enlisted and you have non-commissioned officers. They're all enlisted, man. We all enlisted. And then you have the officers. They're in two different tiers, officers and then enlisted men. So In the enlisted men, you got the non-commissioned officers all the way down to the privates and whatever the case may be. And then in the officers, you have, like in the Army, you have a captain, but he'll be an O3. But a captain in the Navy's like a full bird colonel in the Army. It's the same level. I said that to say there'll be levels in the not just the accumulated facts, but in the way you apply the accumulated facts. That's why they be saying, "Oh man, you need an enlightener if you're gonna," because the devil got so much shit going down. You need a nice enlightener so they could guide you. Don't mistake video and all that for an enlightenment. That's just aiming you the right way. And in today's society, the way the world is set up, it's easier for me to put you on the path without physically being there. But it still won't replace someone actually there with you. But we do what we gotta do. We work with what we have to work with, right? So I'm saying that to say when he said, that's what Jerome said that, saying that to say, you got me saying, well, when you take the knowledge and the wisdom and bring about an understanding, you'll say, no grain, no starch, no dairy, no soy, no sugar. But you would also be using Leviticus if you were going to that level. Now, if you're in the unconscious group and you don't bear witness to, I don't know, a Bible, I guess, you're not going to use that as your for instance. I'm saying we use that because it heals the original people. The original people need to be healed because of the trauma we've been through. That's why I said you might start out with. See, I start everybody saying you got to heal the gut. You need the digestive system healed. The only way you can heal the digestive system to the level that you want it healed, that's it. Once the digestive system is healed, it's a chain reaction like a domino effect. Everything else starts repairing. Liver, pancreas, gallbladder, spleen. Those organs will start repairing themselves. A lot of times the circulatory system will kind of be doing it at the same time, repairing itself. And then the glands will start repairing themselves. The hormones will get back in equilibrium. Makes me think of the Quabbalistic Tree of Life and why I keep saying Asiatic. He say, oh, Elijah just made that word up. So did he, Noble Ali, make it up too? I'm just wondering. So when you read the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, the ancient Hebrew scriptures, and they going from world of fleshless to the world of flesh, do they not call the world of flesh, the whole universe on the physical plane of existence of matter is Asiatic? Do they not say that? So how is it made up if the word was created and made manifest to explain the physical plane of existence? Oh, crickets. So, like I said, you're going to replace grain to people. Sometimes I don't think people know what grain is. You might want to look up what's grain. Like rice is grain, so no rice. All right, let me give it to you nice, because they was like, wow, what am I going to eat? Well, definitely no damn rice. And if you're repairing your physical composition, you don't even need beans. No beans. So here's the repair stage. No grain, no starch, no soy, no dairy, no sugar. So you're not going to have beans, right? You're not going to deal with nightshades. So no nightshades and no legume. And What else are you gonna dump? No underground vegetables. You don't want any of those. This is all till you repair your physical composition. Stop panicking. You so learned by the devil and what he tell you to eat, you start panicking. Stop trying to reject your own teachings. I didn't bring these. The Creator sent them to you. He said, I want my people to know the dietary laws. You can't make this shit up. How come they say, oh, I don't believe this and that? They went a gerrymander. So, okay, you can gerrymander the Bible if you want and pick the part you think that's right and exact and leave the other parts alone. But don't let the devil tell you which parts are good and which parts aren't. First of all, he don't even put you in the right position. You don't even know which one is which. When the Bible is talking, and where are you standing in that position when it's talking? Like, what party are you? What part of it are you? Right. So when I'm listening to it talk, when I'm listening to the Bible talk, right, and I use Jerusalem, King James, any of them is talking. Who are you in there? See, that's the problem. If you think you the Gentile and the Philistines and all of them, then you're. That's why you don't eat right and exact, because you think you a Gentile, or you think you we under grace. Somebody's under grace. I wouldn't say that ain't true, but it ain't your ass. You've been around too long to be under grace. You came with the motherfucking planet. The original man came with the planet. So what is he under? He's under the rules and regulations of the original man in the land war era. And the easiest way for me to explain it to you is if you go back to the plant-based diet that we had in Genesis, or you go after the flood and you go into Leviticus 11. Those are two simple ways of giving it to you so you understand. But our people will be so mad by the time they figure out that they don't get to eat no swine, because that's the way it works. The parasite that when they fed us the swine, the parasite is attached itself to our proteins. It's part of us now as a people. It's inside there. And it's so ingrained. Their culture and their creed is so ingrained in us that you get mad. Right? Mostly the original man can handle it if everybody in the family goes with it. But if people in the family reject that part, because that's what will happen. You'll notice. You'll come home with knowledge yourself. And what is the first thing that knowledge itself does? One of the key components to knowledge itself is to not eat the swine. Well, the devil is against you not eating the swine. He wants you to eat the swine. So you can't even get past that level. Well, I mean, I can show you how to kind of heal your body if you wanted to eat the swine. If you was like an 85 and you said, well, I just can't give up my swine. I would still suggest, like I would any animal eater, that they go with the organic animals. If you're going to eat the animals, that's your lower kin, if you're going to eat them, kill them and murder them and eat them. Just when you say it that way, now you get to see why you fixing the language and calling it a steak and just saying what it is. We killed the cow. We didn't kill him. We murdered that cow. And then we chopped his ass up, gave him to the people, and they took it home and ate it. That's what happened. So, sounds okay. Was it ain't you on the slab? They had you on the slab. You wouldn't be saying that shit now. You wouldn't be saying, oh boy, it's gonna be old hell for you. That's what you would be saying. So, oh, here it is. Here's the one I was looking for. Ancient Egypt, The Light of the World. 2 volumes in one. Gerald Massey. And the other one is A Book of the Beginnings, Volume 2. Gerald Massey. And here was the other one they was making suggestions on. He said, Manly P. Hall. Just look up Manly P. Hall. But the 2 books I saw that they were reading in Chicago, they had The Secret History of America, and they had How to Understand Your Bible. Manly P. Hall. That's the one them elders had on that table. And they said, how did you remember that stuff like that? Because I asked them, what was that? And they told me. They was telling me different books that they had. Just like when I was talking to Justice Equality Bookstore, the owner, whoever, I don't even remember the Muslim's name, but he was putting me on. He said, hey, you should read this, you should read this, you should read this and this. I didn't have the money to buy a lot of stuff at the time, but I wrote it down in my little notepad. And then later on, when I saved up my money, I went and bought it. Same way I did any other book I wanted. If I couldn't get it right then and there, I'd save it. If he wouldn't let me get it on credit, I worked my way up to it. So anyway, I said that to say that you'll get to that point. If you just do that, you'll say, at first, I'm telling you, you're not going to really know what to eat, but you don't need a lot of different kind of foods. That's because you don't eat a lot of different kind of foods as it is now. If you count all the different stuff you eat, you just rotating that shit. You ain't eating a whole lot of different shit. Because the devil don't give you a whole bunch of choices. What he do is he give you a whole bunch of the same shit and make it all look different. That's why I say choosing fools is strangely mixed. You walk in Dunkin' Donut, I'm gonna tell you what you really getting is just a bunch of sugar, some water, and coffee. What else is in there? Sugar, water, and coffee. These are the forms that it's in. The sugar could be in the form of grain, starch, soy, dairy, sugar. And then the water is maybe filtered. I'm pretty sure Dunkin' Donut likes to filter their water. So you'll have filtered water, so that won't be so bad. The coffee, though, is probably cooked. I know they cook that coffee, but they do have raw coffee or cold brew. They have minimally cooked coffee that has been cooked at high temperature, but it's flashy. It's a flash cooking, kind of, in that category. You have espresso and all those. Those are smaller packages in a concentrated form, so the body reacts to it different. Other than that, I don't know what you would be getting in fast food restaurants, in any fast food restaurant in America. I'm speaking for the 50 states. Pretty much if they ain't connected to any of that. They're GMO, G. There's no way you a fast food restaurant. And most restaurants are buying GMO food to feed you because they're in it to make money, not in it to feed you. That's not what their reason of opening a restaurant is, not to feed you. They don't give a fuck about feeding you. You're the idiot thinking they want to feed you. They trying to get paid. Either red or black. They dealing with either one of those. They're either in the red or they're in the black. Now, you figure that one out. So I was looking at that flag and it made me say, that flag is red and green. It has that 5-pointed star. And then that other flag was red, green and white. The green part was that cedar tree of Lebanon inside that white square with the whole flag of Trumpets inside. That white square is in the corner inside of the red square, triangle. No, rectangle. And then you see the universal, the colors of the universal is the gold and the black and the white. And then the flag, and the other one is red and white. Wasn't the FOI red and white? Let me look. That one I got from Hakeem. I gotta call up. Yeah, it's red and white. And that's that drum I got from her, that big one right there. And that takes it to that level. And so you want a combat sport, pick one. I mean, we like Wing Chun, but somebody else might like Hapkido, Shanru, Taekwondo, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, whatever the case may be. Pick one of them. Kickboxing, mixed martial arts. Go for yours. American boxing, one of the greatest sports in the world. Combat fighting, you can box. Look at Tyson. Just not running up on these elite boxers in the ring. If he's that dangerous in the ring with rules, then would they be killing you with this? Professional fighters, that's not the same as I'm in the street. I gouge his eyes out or whatever. I see Sifu said he gouge his eyes. Yeah, but in real life, like Tyson said, the first person that gets punched in the face, all that planning goes out the window. It's just that you could tell when somebody has some kind of training, because I could tell the way they punch that they've been training and practicing, because they're going to do that. And somebody who isn't training and practicing, they're just trying to protect themselves. They're going to do that all everywhere. You don't know what they do. And there's not going to be no rhyme or reason to it, but they're going to go for theirs. I said that in order to bring you up to this understanding that we have what is called levels. There's got to be levels. There's no other way around it. If you don't have levels, you'll never be able to completely finish what you're trying to start off doing. And I say that loosely because really you're striving. If you're really going to do it, just striving to do it. And then you do it. So first you gather up the accumulated facts. Once you know what you're going to do, then do it. It's easy to do. All right, so that sent that back. All right. If you do that prime reading, you got to send stuff back to them. Like, I don't know why I got stuck in there. It didn't go back. But I was listening the other day to this, like a speech. But the people that were talking, somebody had brought it. Diop was there. He was speaking. And Sertima, they had him. I don't know if this all happened at once or they clipped it together. Now they can make the clips. All right, so those are the two, there was two speakers that I noticed. I said, oh, there's Diop speaking. So if you could get any of his books, Auntie Diop, get his books, Civilization or Barbarism. Great book. Ivan Van Sertima, they came before Columbus. Just kills them. The whole story, their whole story be slaughtered when you got that kind of body of accumulated facts. I always tell you, get Lena Cantrell. The greatest story never told. Yeah, you should get that one, Van. Listen. She killed him. And that's 1987. Like, she killed him in 1987. They knew she slaughtered them. After that, they didn't know what to do. So they just wait and buy their time. See, this one here says the one I had was copyrighted in 1988. So, you know these books exist. You know Elijah said what he said. They couldn't beat Malcolm in no debate. He slaughtered them all. See, they be saying, oh, you got to prove that. Well, it's already been proven. And why am I going to be proving something that's already been proven? That you didn't beat Malcolm in no debate. None. He killed you. When did they win one? They won one? Oh, they like in the grievance procedure. Straight up losing all the time. You're just losers. Now, what they will do is cheat. You got to be ready for the cheating now. If you ain't ready for the cheating, you about to get served up properly. Be ready, because you're going to get a cheat session. And once you figure out that they cheat, and you know that they cheat, then you know you have to protect yourself from a cheater. If you don't protect yourself from a cheater, you'll get cheated on. That's a good one, right? So, all right, so that pretty much covers it, right? For no grain, no starch, no soy, no dairy, no sugar, because you're healing your system. You're not going to use any beans or any um, nightshades. You're gonna use only water as your unless you're making smoothies, but that's still water, and then you make the smoothies with organic. So you're gonna do that. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, you're not going to eat animals and none either, because that'll help you heal your physical composition even faster. And I'm going to say in about 6 months, 9 months, then you can start introducing yourself to say things that's the replace of grain is the pseudo cereals like quinoa, wild rice, those. Even you might even have those chickpeas. You'll have navy beans, black beans. If you're going to do the nightshades, you're going to make sure that the seeds are out of them and the skin is off of them, like tomatoes and those kind of nightshades, those fruit of the vine. That's how the Bible talks about nightshades, calls them fruit of the vine. And Samson wouldn't eat fruit of the vine. That's all right. So now, then you got Arnold Herod, rational fasting. Get that. And also get his book on mucusless diet. Now he's old school. Right, he was teaching mucusless diet. When did they say his book first came out with the mucusless diet? I'm gonna tell you right now. Wait, hold on. Oh man, I don't see a date on it. Well, this book doesn't have the date. It has it, but I don't see it on there because I see Rational Fasting, Regeneration Diet and Natural Cure for All Diseases by Arnold Herod, translated from the German. Let me see. Fred Hirsch. Introduction by Robert Miller. Preface, Fred Hirsch. Then it goes into rational fasting, a common fundamental cause in the nature of diseases. So, in fact, the most modern achievement, bacteriology, rejoices over every newly discovered bacillus as a further addition to the army of being whose accepted task it is to endanger the life of man. So, It just tells you how these crazy motherfuckers are working. God knows what they're trying to do. I mean that literally. The guards know what they're trying to do. Believe it. If those rules and regulations were just not being enforced at this present moment. But they about to enforce a lot of shit that you have no idea. That they coming for your throat. But that's another story for another time. So you can add on to the dietary law if you use the basic structure of Leviticus 11. Um, that's if you're an animal eater, you're going to use Leviticus 11. If you're not an animal eater, you're going to go to the next level. You're going to be in Genesis, man. So you're going to eat raw fruit and vegetables. So I gave you the remedy. Once the body has healed itself, I'm saying a year. Sometimes it takes 3 years, depending on where you at. If you like diabetes, hypertension, if you're just trying to lose poundage. Say you're trying to gain muscle mass, decrease body fat. First thing you need to do is let go of grain, starch, soy, dairy, sugar. If you're worried about weight, get wild rice, black beans and wild rice, navy beans and wild rice. Your protein, the beans gonna have the protein, but if you want to make it a little more amino acid complete, you add hemp to that. Uh, you want to add those fat amino acids like Brazilian and walnut and coconut. That's why I like the coconut flour. It's not inflammation-y. It won't give you inflammation. It's not an inflammation type food like grain is. It inflames your body. Like I said to the girl, oh, no grain. And she said, oh, I'm not I'm not grain intolerant. As if when I said no grain, no starch, no soy, no dairy, no sugar, as if that's the only reason you shouldn't eat grain is because you're not grain. I was like, I'm not going into this. Because you were really setting up yourself to be a Western ideology and act like, I don't know, Western women act. Oh, everybody want to get the hell away from that attitude problem. Yeah, nobody wants to deal with it. Even the original man don't want to deal with it. We don't like the snuffleupagus. We don't like that fake hair. We don't like it. We don't like all that perm. We don't like buying all those different kind of hairs to put in your hair. We don't like them. We don't like it. We like natural. We want to know what the genetic code really is. We attracted to you because you had that look, because you made yourself look a certain way. And we said, oh, I like that look. And then when you take off all that fake shit, you ain't got that look really. So you tricked us into going with that genetic code, and that's not the genetic code that we was attracted to. That's what be happening. So you got this fake code, and then you telling everybody you want a real man, but you got the fake code. So I'm just saying that to say it goes all the way to the food source. Yeah, they'll be stopping you from getting the right and exact food. I want to go out to dinner, and I want to go to a restaurant. And know what that means? Translate that. I want to go to the white man's restaurant. I want to eat the white man's food. I think that the white man's food is better than the original man's food. Right? I want you to use our resources for the source of our energy. See? Now, if you understood the culture of food, you would understand that how sacred and pronounced food really is. It's the energy source, the source that keeps that physical composition in enables that physical composition, and it keeps that physical composition working so you can stay in it. Remember the thumb theory? Earth, fire, air, water, and then you can get in that physical composition. You're the thumb. And if anything happens to any four of those elements, you'll be getting the hell up out of there. Believe that. Now that you can take to the bank. And he said you could take that to the bank. And I wouldn't suggest going to the bank. They're part of the monetary fund. I say go with the non-monetized crypto and all that. Go that way if you stashing money and trying to come up and you don't want them trying to tax you for stacking, tax you for getting it, tax you for buying shit, tax you for not buying shit. I mean, god damn. They do extortion, Lord. That's extortion. That's what that is. So he said, I wanted you to learn teaching organic farming and gardening. I want you to learn that. That was part of the curriculum you needed to learn. Organic gardening. All right, so now let's look at the next list. See, I'm keeping it up. I'm going to keep it real for you, right? Now, the next list. Wait. I got to get the next list. Oh, they was talking about apple cider vinegar on that one there, but I'm going to the list for you. All right, here. See, he said coconut flour too. It was like, get all the recipes for coconut flour, and then you'll see the cross referencing, so you won't have to use eggs, and they show you how to use applesauce or banana or tapioca, that flour. There's different ways to replace the binding the eggs have in your cooking and the fluffiness and all that. Because you trying to not eat animals if you go into the next level in 120, right? You're automatically going towards the consumption of plants. That's your goal is to aim towards more plant-based. So what's this one here he was saying? He wanted us to read The Universal One by Walter Russell. I haven't read this yet. It looks like I looked into it like 11%. So, oh, right, the process of thinking. I'm at that part. What else do we have in this list? The Empire of the City by E.C. I want to say. Wait, let me look at his name. Kuhn. I can't see that name. I think it's pronounced Nuth. E.C. Nuth. I want to say Nuth because it seemed like the K would be silent. Knuth. But the Empire of the City. The Jekyll Hyde nature of the British government. I'm telling you. And I only looked in it, but that was the list. So you know me, I grab a lot of the stuff that the list says grab. Because I'm thinking the youth are going to need it later on. Because I know the second degree in the 1 to 10. That's really what it's showing and proving. Second degree in the 1 to 10 is giving you 1555 from when I looked at the little caption. And because if it's talking about the British government, we know Britain in America. That's the same thing. England, English. They make you speak English. Right? When it says something like an underground history of American education, that you want to look at that, right? You want to say, oh, and that's Gatto, JT Gatto, Gatto. So you can understand why you need homeschool. That's why they aim you in lessons. It says homeschool, take your children out of the hands of the devil. So that would take you back to midwife. You need a midwife because if you never let the devil get a hold of them, even when they're a baby coming out of the womb, you had the midwife, you had the baby at home, they don't get a control pattern on it. You want to do that. Right? You want to homeschool. You want to keep the devil out of your house. He said, The Theology of Time by Elijah Muhammad. The Secret of Time. A comprehensive 40-year, 40, so that must have been from the 30s to the 70s. Yeah, he was making knowledge born from the 30s to the 70s. 40-year comprehensive overview of Elijah Muhammad. And then you could do a comprehensive overview of Allah the Father, and you could do it with W.D. Farrar. You could do one with Malcolm X. You could do one with Martin Luther King. You can do one with Noble Drew Ali. Oh, I told you before, make sure you get a Black's Law Dictionary. He said, which edition? Get the one that you can get. Of course, the older they are, the better they are, but hey, listen, even the new ones will slaughter these motherfuckers because they'll be talking Webster's English to you when they're talking to you. When they're writing laws, believe this, they're not using Webster. That. And he said, and you can take that to the bank. Oh, here's one, the 3 principles of divine essence. That it just says that. I don't even know. Where would he get that from? Let me do a little research and find out what that one is that he's talking about. So is that okay? So in 1619, John Sparrow by Jacob Beheman. Wow. These people got names that's off the chain. Anyway, John Sparrow, Wayne Cross. I guess these guys translated because they know where they wrote this heavy shit. What the wrath of God, sin, death, the devil, and hell are. Okay, now just take the mystery part out of it and you be catching on right away. So you know who God is, you know what sin is, you know what death is, right? The 4 elements can't manifest themselves in equilibrium and you can't stay in the physical composition. We know who the devils are. Fucking colonizers be all over our ass like devils, doing their devilishment. Attacking everybody on the planet, going crazy. Right? Well, show me who they didn't attack. They even attacked the other Europeans who wasn't doing nothing to them. The Europeans who first attacked the Europeans, enslaved their own selves, Slavs and all that. And remember the Romans was trying to enslave the Germans and the gladiators. I'm going to translate that. Odin and Thor, take these fools out. We going to slam metal against Zeus and his people. That's what that translated. He's standing on that giant rock, swinging that giant hammer. Odin and Thor, then I bring the lightning down on these motherfuckers. And they fought those Romans, boy, and that was Zeus in them. See? So who are you down with? Thor or Zeus? Make your call. Gotta love it. See, when you see it from the perspective, and you be saying to yourself, well, why did they act like, because you know they'll be disrespectful. So, oh, they got a book on Tyrone Lannister? I should get that. I didn't know they had that. So anyway, long story short, They figured that they would run us away and not let us get this science, but you can't stop us. Why? Because once the virus, oh, here's the book. Once the virus is set, you can't stop it. Here's what I was looking for: A History of Money. So you got to know about that do re mi fa sol la ti. Got to know about that, right? So from ancient times in the present day, I want you to get that. Get A History of Money. And the other one was The Story of the Committee of 300, the Travis Stock Institute of Human Relations. Okay, and then he said, "Oh, could you give us the money? The same way you did the no grain, starch, soy, dairy, sugar thing. All right. So with the money you're gonna do, you're gonna get 12,000. You're gonna aim for 12,000. So you're gonna be moving to your brain 12,000 hits. So you're gonna be thinking, I need 12. So if it ain't 12,000, it's 1,200. If it ain't 1,200, it's $12. So you're thinking them 12s like that, and you're gonna stack. So you got to get into the habit of when you come home, the change goes in the change drawer, and the ones and fives and the tens go in that petty cash drawer. And then you trying to stack 12 months rent in cash. So you'll call it your cash reserve. And then you want to stack 12,000 in your savings. And then from there, now you at 24 in that hit. And then you're going to start going to something like a brokerage account. You're going to stack maybe 6 to 12,000, depending on how your money is moving. Even if you start off with, so now you're going to go into sixes when you go into the Robinhood or the Public or Cash App. You're going to go in sixes on those, right? So you're going to go with $60, $6, $600, like that, right? 6,000, boom. If you want to double it, then you could go with the 12s. Or you're going to go 12 and 12 is 24s. They was asking for 25s, but we was going 12 and 12s was 24s. And then you're going to move that across. Now, what you're going to look for when you brand new and don't really know what the hell you doing, you're going to look down and look for all the things that deal with dividends, and you're going to put money in that like if you would a savings account and not even thinking about it. Dividends going to come back. You let it rotate in when you see how much the dividend is. Say you put for every 100, the dividends might come back, and you'll say, oh, they gave me like $37. If I add it up, so it might be point 98. That would be extra good. Most of it would be some shit like you got a C note in there. Well, I seen it as low as 60, and it still be coming back with like 37 or 58 or 88. It'd be them kind of numbers, points. There'll be point in front, so it'll be like 98 cents. The interest, but when you look at that interest rate, that's off the chain. You could do something with that. And plus, if the stock is going up. So if you got something like Apple, they're giving you dividends and their stock is going up. That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing that. Now, don't be thinking, I need an apartment and I need a car and all that. Those are all liabilities unless the car is making money or the apartment building is making money. So if you buy a house, you want two families so that it's helping you. You're not just living in it and it doesn't earn anything. It's earning things. So if shit got bad, you could move out of it. You could live into the basement and rent out the rest so that the mortgage could get paid. So you're thinking from that level. And then when you go in with the level of a car should be making you money or making it convenient for you to make money. So it's not a liability, right? You're in the city, you don't really need it right now. You'll be stacking. That'll be money you stack. Little simple shit like buying clippers saves you $20 or more every time you go get a cut. Take that 20 and throw it in the petty cash drawer. Watch how quick it go up. I'm saying they averaging about $40 a month on haircuts. That's per you. So some people are more than that. So you putting that away. See how you thinking in 12s now. So now each month you banging them. By the end of the 12 month, you would have made those habits. You'll keep doing those. Because you're going to be thinking, the system's going to make you think when you go organic, it's more because it costs more at the initial hit. But it doesn't cost more in the long run because you never really need a doctor or a pharmacist. So you beat them on that end. You're not afraid to retire because you're not sick. All right, here's the other book. The book your church doesn't want you to read. Okay, that one was a good one. The name on it is not written well. I can't see it good. Wait, let me enlarge it so I can see it. Oh, Tim Leedom is the editor. The enlightening anthology by world-renowned theologians, historians, and researchers that exposes and challenges misrepresentations and age-old beliefs. From Rome to the Bible Belt, the book is causing the storm of the century. Well, it was recommended reading anyway. I'm giving you all these recommended readings. It's just recommended. It's not like it's absolute. You gotta do it. You don't got to. What was the other one? Now, I see this book. I remember this from the old days. The Clock of Destiny, book 1 and book 2. Let's see here. I see 120 lessons. What's this one here? Oh, the Life Science Health System. The Life Science Institute, right? That's a nice one to do the knowledge too. And I think I'm reaching the end of the list for today's degree, or how they showed, like they were saying, oh, that's part of today's mathematics. So that's why they were saying they had that list correlated with today's math. So they was going with wisdom, bringing about that culture. The culture eye guard. Here it is, the Kabbalah, and that's what I was looking at. All right, now watch this. I'm going to show you what I meant. Right, so mental. Here it is. So the all is the mind, the universe is mental, right? The principle embodies the truth that the all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlying all outward manifestations and appearance, which we now know and under the terms of the material universe. So matter, energy, all that is motion being made from theology of time and all that, right? Motion being made. The first motion, the gases was making knowledge born inside of the triple darkness. Forbidden History by Douglas Kenyon. Kenyon or Kenyon? Kenyon. We did that one before, right? The Life Institute, that one comes up again. Oh, here it is, just the other one. The Inflammation Secret Code, How to Live Pain-Free and Quit Sugar Once and for All. So people going to be knowing that grain is, what do you think it turns into? It turns into sugar. Grain turns into sugar. Starch turns into sugar. Soy turns into sugar. Dairy turns into sugar. Sugar turns into sugar. It's funny, right? Of course, sugar turns into sugar. What do you think? You're killing me over here. Yeah, I remember back in the days when when Michael Muhammad Knight came to law school and all that. I remember that. He wrote a couple of books on that too, whatever the case may be. I know one thing, one of his books that I saw, the flag was right and exact on it, because it said the 5%ers, and it had a flag like The way the Sham God talked about the flag, it looked like that flag. I was like, oh, it looked like that flag. You know which one he's talking about. It looked like that one, right? So that's why I was like, okay. Oh, I always tell you get Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. You have to read that. And then I'm done for now. That's it for the time being. That should hold us down. We just did 120. Peace. Divine understanding, born of law. You know how we do it, set the record straight. And if you feeling how we drop this, go ahead and subscribe. December the 9th, 1964. That's when he came to us in the name of Allah. How did come December the 9th? Where did he get October from? That's our history. That's the history of the Nation of Islam, not the nation of God and earth. The nation of God and earth are not a part of the Nation of Islam. Somebody broke away, made a nation that's unalike. You tell me all that. Y'all in the wrong part of the country.
Hold up.
So
The anniversary is
50 years. It's longer than all of y'all. I tell you, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. That ain't happening.
what they're referring to is October 10th, 1964, when Allah manifested
I was living. You wasn't even here. I'm telling you, you're wrong. I'm telling you. And I'll tell any other brother they're wrong. You made that up. You never heard that when you first came here. When you first came here, you never heard it. Go by what you know. When you first came here, you never heard it.
No, I know you're right. I never heard about anniversary.
Right, exactly. Don't believe me, clean yourself. You said, hey, bro, nobody never told me that. Where you get that from? And you supposed to get the rest about that with the hey, brother. We ain't never taught that. You never taught that, did you?
No, that is new.
You probably been around a lot longer than a lot of them. How can y'all do that? Can't you see what's happening? It's a test of your face, brother. You never said that. I'm gonna let you put words in your mouth. And you've been saying that longer than a lot of them brothers. That's around you. I tell everybody, when I said, no, brother, what did you say? When you first came here, you never knew nothing like that. Said, you're right, now, God. I never said, wait a minute, wake up. So I gotta smack yourself and wake up. Wake up and smell the road. No, wake up and smell the coffee. Remember Starbucks? Buck stops here. You can believe that. Look at the lesson. You know, most of those brothers don't know more than the student enrollment. That means you never got the student enrollment.